Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today sitting down for an Xbox news update. Would you believe that it's been about 2 weeks since our last news update here on this channel? The content focus has completely shifted as of late. Gaming news has slowed down tremendously, and because of that, I've started to tweak things a little bit, do more re-reviews, revisiting of older games, more Let's Play style content, and it's done well. I've been really happy with it overall. So again, thank you to the audience for just tuning in, enjoying the stuff I try to make. But it's good to be back into our really familiar wheelhouse here with news. Today, we're talking about Xbox, and my oh my, do we have a lot to go over. Some very interesting comments from PlayStation about the Xbox Activision deal, specifically to do with Call of Duty. We're going to talk about the increased usage of Xbox Cloud Gaming and why that may be the case. 1,800% increase since this point last year. That's a pretty big change. Why is that? I think I might have a bit of an idea. We're also going to be talking about Roundhouse Studios, an Xbox first-party studio underneath the Bethesda banner, who is working on a unannounced project. If you want a bullet point as to why gaming news is so slow, this is a story, and I'm going to talk about why it shouldn't be one. And last but certainly not least, we're going to be getting into a significant delay for Xbox's holiday window. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, welcome aboard. We do a lot of Xbox and just gaming news in general, typically, but there just hasn't been much. And also we do reviews, which there hasn't been much to cover on that front either. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Consider subscribing if you like that type of stuff. Let's start off with some very interesting comments here from PlayStation. This has really been making the rounds, and I think for reasons, again, that circle around like news is slow, but also that people are receiving it as PlayStation kind of sounding afraid, shooken up maybe about things. So let's read the headline, the quotes, and get into it. Sony says it believes Xbox owning Call of Duty could influence users' console choice. Along with other companies such as Ubisoft, Amazon, and Google, Sony's responses to several questions about the proposed acquisition has been published in full by the Brazilian government. Sony's response, transcribed by VGC, mostly outlines the current state of AAA game development for the Brazilian regulator. However, large portions highlight the importance the PlayStation firm puts in Call of Duty, a franchise which it claims influences users' console choice. Call of Duty is so popular that it influences users' choice of console, and its community of loyal users is entrenched enough that even if a competitor has the budget to develop a similar product, it would not be able to rival it. No other developer can devote the same level of resources and expertise in game development. Even if they could do that, Call of Duty is overly entrenched so that no rival, no matter how relevant they are, can catch up. Sony went on to note that Call of Duty has been the top-selling game for almost every year for the past decade, and, for its genre, is overwhelmingly the best-selling game. What PlayStation is effectively saying here is they can't even answer Call of Duty going to the Xbox platform with, say, bringing back Killzone or making SOCOM this first-person shooting franchise. They couldn't, I don't know, somehow get the exclusive rights to something like Destiny 2, which clearly we know is not the case here. And they're arguing that that couldn't even battle against something like Call of Duty, which, I don't know. I think Destiny 2 is really popular, but obviously they couldn't get it on an exclusive capacity, as we've learned here. Now, I cracked wise over on Twitter, and I was saying, breaking. Xbox says that games like Spider-Man, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Days Gone, Bloodborne, so on and so forth, influence users' console choice. And a lot of people thought when I posted that, particularly fanboys, of course, thought I was trying to one-to-one this acquisition of Activision and a third-party gaming franchise that could have gone exclusive to Xbox. As they have clarified, it won't. So I don't know why this is like a crazy big deal for a lot of people, but if it did go exclusive, people thought I was one-to-oneing that with something like Horizon Forbidden West. What I was effectively trying to say, though, and what I'm going to explain here now, my feelings on this situation is that, yeah, you make these types of investments in studios and IP, exclusive or not, because they drive sales of your console. Why do you think PlayStation bent over backwards to get Bungie? They don't even have exclusivity of this current game, Destiny 2, any of its future content. Oh, and none of its future games. They literally just get to say they own Bungie, at least at face value for us as consumers. We don't see all the money that gets right into PlayStation, and of course, how Bungie can help PlayStation with their live service future, which is a big part of their plans. But the association of Bungie and PlayStation brings Destiny 2 users to the PlayStation ecosystem, And because of that brand association, PlayStation will sell more units and of course make more money. Just like with Activision becoming a part of Xbox and Call of Duty still being multi-platform, but the brand association, the ability to say next Xbox, Bethesda, and Activision maybe showcase, debut the actual campaign gameplay, the multiplayer gameplay on their stage. And that brand association there, and how that'll drive units, and how, as Sony has so delightfully put it, no one can rival it. I'm not a big COD fan anymore, but no one can rival it in the terms of its production, its consistency, its level of popularity, that yeah, it'll make people buy an Xbox. And that's what they're saying here. A lot of people thought this was noted out of fear, and I think they're more so just underlining the point we've all been talking about, which is much like Destiny 2 being a part of the PlayStation ecosystem, if you will, there's a lot of power with that. It's a big deal. And especially with PlayStation not really having a first-person shooting answer, they got, if you will, the next big one. And one that I really do think could one day overtake if they continue to build Destiny more and more, like a Destiny 3 or something like that, more expansions. Like that game is rolling. I think it could overtake Call of Duty, quite frankly. It's going to take a while, but I think with its free-to-play nature, the way that people are loving the story, if they just got rid of the vaulted content, I would even be in on Destiny 2, and I'm not even interested in that type of stuff because I'm just curious and I hear nothing but good things. So I feel like what they're doing here is just underlying what we've all been saying. It's significant that Xbox has Call of Duty, even if it's not exclusive. I did think they were going to make it exclusive. I'll completely call myself out on that. But I would be most regretful if I didn't call out a bit of maybe hypocrisy on PlayStation's end. I'm not going to sit here and act like they're scared and they're shaking, but when you take a look at this PlayStation 4 Pro 1 terabyte listing that you can find right now on Amazon, yeah, the branding kind of suggests a different story than what was actually reality for Modern Warfare on PlayStation 4. That brand association is powerful. PlayStation knows it, and by God, did they utilize it. But it appears that Xbox agrees with your boy's tweet because it was dug up through all the various pages submitted to Brazilian regulators over on Reset Era that in paragraph 285, here's what Xbox had to say, and it kind of sounds similar to what I was saying, which is Sony and Nintendo have strong and differentiated offerings, including their own exclusive titles. For example, IDC has identified that key Sony exclusive titles in 2018 include God of War and Marvel's Spider-Man, in addition to other prominent titles such as The Last of Us and Uncharted. These titles partly reflect Sony's vertical integration, for example, Sony's film studios owning the rights to Spider-Man, but also its broader strategy of obtaining rights that make third-party games exclusive to its console, like Final Fantasy VII Remake. In fact, in paragraph 205, they mentioned Final Fantasy VII Remake as an exclusive from Sony, and surprisingly, it includes a redacted note from Microsoft. So just keep all that in mind, that Microsoft knows the game that they're playing here. With that, let's move into the second bit of news, which is kind of questionable as well. I'm sorry if I'm throwing shots here, but I sometimes can't help but air the frustration I have with the current news cycle. So the title of this one is Xbox's Roundhouse Studios is working on an unannounced project. According to the official LinkedIn page of Brad Fawaz, game designer at Roundhouse Studios, the team is developing an unannounced game. Regarding the fact that Roundhouse Studios was formed in late 2019, their unannounced game has probably been in development for nearly 3 years at most. Brad Fawaz also shared the image below to indicate the unannounced project he is working on, but doesn't give any significant information about the upcoming title from Roundhouse Studios, as you can see here. Now, the reason why I say this shouldn't be a big deal is because we already knew they were co-developing Redfall. This was confirmed via Arcane Studios on their Twitter account when they shared the gameplay reveal at the Xbox Bethesda showcase this year. However, prior to that, and I can understand why people forgot because my God, was it rumors galore, of course, leading into this showcase. One of the rumors was that maybe there would be a Marvel game revealed. And this was one of the rumors that had legs. Because again, back on LinkedIn, we learned that a senior programmer over at what was once Human Head Studios that then turned into Roundhouse Studios had, quote, worked with a small team in Unreal Engine 4 to build an unannounced online team-based PvPvE third-person shooter based on a major comic license. And as you can see here, they are now working on a game from 2019 to now, which is still unannounced, which could be this one. And if it is the same one, that when Bethesda absorbed Human Head and turned them into Roundhouse Studios, this would be a comic book game. At least at the bare minimum, that's the most we got to go off of. That they are working on a PvPvE game. And honestly, I'm very interested to see what Roundhouse Studio is working on, because way back when they were Human Head in 2012, they were working on Prey 2. And Prey 2 is a game I always love to talk about because it's one of the game cancellations in the early 2010s that really just burns me next to Star Wars 1313, like this first-person shooter, bounty hunting game with parkour elements, sci-fi focus. Y'all know I'm a sci-fi boy. Love that stuff. And this game just spoke to my soul. I remember I got my appendix taken out. I was laid up in bed with painkillers in my body, and I was just grinding old E3 footage, and this was one of the games I always came back to. I loved how Prey 2 looked. So to me, I know a lot of that talent has probably left the team as they went on to release Rune 2, which honestly wasn't that great looking, but I look at that game and think to myself, man, they do have some type of talent there, and I'd love to see what they can do now with Bethesda and in turn Microsoft at their back with some budget. So yeah, they're working on a game. They're also co-developing Redfall. I'm imagining it'll be a while before we hear about this game, given that they're also working on a significant Xbox exclusive that got delayed that has a lot of attention on it. But if this is a major comic book license, if that ends up holding true from what they absorbed from Human Head, man, oh man, can that be really exciting. Because one of the things that we've all pushed for a while is getting that Marvel action, getting that DC action in on the Xbox front. So this could be an answer. We will see. But for now, let's move on to a delay. Speaking of which, so Warhammer 40k Darktide. This game looks awesome. And according to my boy Skill Up, it plays awesome as well. I was really pumped when I saw this one. It was supposed to come out much earlier. They went dark, delayed it. It was supposed to come out in September. It's been delayed again. In a note from the developer on their personal Twitter account, they had posted over at Fat Shark that this is being delayed to November 30th for PC. And Xbox Series X and S will launch shortly after the PC with a specific launch date to come. So they are specifically having issues with the console version, and the PC version itself will be ready first. I want them to take their time with this. This is one of the staples, I think, of Xbox's holiday. What's another game in November? Surely I'll have the time to play this one, right? Right. Anyway, I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be a good co-op time. This game has Game Pass written all over it because of the multiplayer co-op fun. I always liked Vermintide, and this game looks like a more futuristic version of that. So I'm curious to see how the classes play out. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. But yes, this is one that you'll have to wait a little bit longer for. And it comes as a little bit less of a surprise, just given the fact that, again, Darktide's sort of been, well, dark, going off the map. Xbox Cloud Gaming. I started tinkering with Xbox Cloud Gaming a little bit more thanks to my Steam Deck. Re-review of that coming mighty soon. And I've reconnected with Xbox Cloud Gaming through that, so I've been able to see just how far the service has come. It's definitely improved a lot, even on my home internet. I'm like, wow, this thing's really cooking along. No sacrifice of the image quality too much, running well, and I'm on this cheap wireless internet. Okay, I like what we're doing here, Xbox. And now we learn, compared to last year, that the hourly usage has increased by 1,800%. That's insane in the past year. Gluckstein noted that Xbox's cloud gaming's hourly usage has grown 1,800% in the past year alone, with LaChapelle emphasizing that Microsoft is working to meet demand with additional servers across the globe. In a recent call to investors, Microsoft noted it plans to double Xbox cloud gaming server capacity in the coming year as more and more heavy hitters appear permanently as a part of their service. So they are ramping up at just the right time, I think. Now, why is it increasing so much, so dramatically? One thing that they recently added was actually Fortnite. And yeah, you know, with Fortnite no build mode and it being available on the cloud, on your phones, on your tablets, I could see this pulling a lot of people in. I think without a doubt, this is pulling a lot of traffic here. So expect to see Xbox continue to buddy up with Fortnite, maybe some character appearances, because now we're seeing the statistics that support that this could be bringing more attention. Beyond that, though, it's because the service got better. Let's just call it as it is. Sometimes it's not that confusing. Occam's razor, right? Like, it's just the simplest answer right there in front of you. The service got better. We're able to use it more. Me, I showed you all last year when I previewed it on my iPad versus my phone versus my PC. PC with a wire, was great. Tablet was awful. Phone was actually pretty solid. It was inconsistent. Now, across the board, I'm having a much better experience with the performance. So yeah, things got better. People started using it more. It's just that simple. And the reports across the industry have been great, so more people are trying it out. Makes sense to me, but I think some big ads are going to help it, and they're smart to prepare now with the servers, because when those big games start coming, like Starfield, so on and so forth, obviously we got to remember that there are people on Xbox One who may not have the money to upgrade and can stream Starfield to the Xbox One, stream Redfall to the Xbox One, and what that could be like. So big moves here. And speaking of which, one of the biggest moves of the Xbox Bethesda showcase this year was Woe Long being day one Game Pass. Woe Long Fallen Dynasty is one of my most anticipated games of next year because I love Neo 2, and this is Xbox's Neo. Just it's got Dynasty Warrior characters, and I connect more with those than the Samurai Warrior characters, so I am all over this. They have confirmed here that there will be a character creator, challenging gameplay, a new morale system, weapons used with Chinese martial arts, famous warlords from the Three Kingdoms, creatures and fiends from Chinese mythology, magic and sorcery, online multiplayer, which is awesome to see because the co-op in Neo was fantastic, and a gameplay trial soon. That last point being really important. If you're interested in Woe Long, it's coming day one to Game Pass. If you're interested in Neo, pay attention to this one and know that a trial's coming soon. So I'm very pumped to get my hands on this one because I am feeling good about it. With that, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you in today's Xbox news update. As promised, it's a pretty meaty one, so let me know what you're thinking about everything we talked about in this video. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.